All right, guys, that's an unexpected surprise I got for you. And the surprise is being me live during this holiday season. So, hope you guys are doing well, getting ready for your planned vacation, time off from school, from work, spending time doing what you love, which means usually trading. Well, I wasn't really planning um, anything at all, actually. But my partner from Tree Commerce pinged me saying that we have these uh, promo codes, these 1 month access codes that uh, I could basically give out to you for free and don't want anything in return. And I was thinking, well, how can I do this? What would be a good way for me to create an engaging environment to reward some of you by giving away these codes, and hopefully for these codes also to fall into the right hands. Some of you really need it because 3Commerce is a very good platform, but it's a bit expensive. Now they have a sale, and I always love these types of events, and unfortunately they happen just once a year. I was writing on my blog and on my Twitter about a trading view sale, like it happens on the Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and that happens once a year, and usually the discount you get are much better than any other discounts. So it's similarly with 3Commerce. They have pretty decent price discounts. They are here, and they continue to change their plans. But one way or another, it still can be very expensive to many of you. So the Pro plan is €25 or maybe dollars. I think it may change slightly depending where you are viewing this. This is where you're sitting, where you're viewing the stream from. So the prices may change slightly, but let's say it's about $25 per month for the Pro plan. So these are exactly the promo codes I got. I got 1 month's access for you to try the Pro plan. So with the Pro plan, you can get 10 grid bots, it's pretty decent, 50 DCA bots. I cannot imagine you needing more. And DCA deals, 500 DCA deals, active. I guess the keyword is active. So I don't know much about the infrastructure that 3Comma employs for running your bots, but I do believe it's pretty heavy. There is probably some virtual machines or virtual servers that they're running, and this computing power does cost them something. So that's probably the way they want to limit kind of the pricing layers. So they say you can only get like 50 active deals for that price, and then if you need more, you could go to that extra layer. So I will do. I'm thinking I'll do like I don't know, more than 10 streams, but each stream will be kind of random. I'll ramble about things like I'm doing now, and I want to limit each stream to about 15 minutes. So let's see. I don't know how many. Speaking for 2-3 minutes now. 4 minutes. Okay. So 15 minutes total, and somewhere closer to the end, I will give out one promo code, and you can use it immediately to you need to use it immediately, because if multiple people are watching the stream, then whoever is faster will win. But there are more codes, so hopefully those of you who are really interested will get your opportunity. And I'll try to also make these streams entertaining and somewhat useful to you. So 25, you'll use it for a month, and then if you decide you want to continue with 3Commerce, you'll need to think, well, do I actually want to spend $25 or €25 a month. And that's, again, this is now a discount price. So that's the math you'll need to do. And I think it will depend on a few things. One, it will depend if you are interested, if you enjoy using the platform. And that's, to me, that's the primary criterion, basically, to know, well, do I like this? Do I want to continue investing not only money, but also time? Second is kind of obvious. Do you make money with the platform? And those of you who are completely new may be lucky immediately, may have some trouble in the beginning. But going back to the first point, if you are interested, if you're engaged, this time you are going to learn how to make money with the platform. But the thing that I am now thinking of as I speak is that you should probably not wait until the full month to make your decision, because there is only 14 days, or let's say 15 days now, 14 days, 23 hours for you to get the deal. So let's go inside of 3Commas. And remember, in about 10 minutes, I'll show you the code. And because I didn't really schedule this stream in advance, maybe not many people will be watching it. So maybe those who will watch it later will get the code that I will share. So I'll post the code in the chat, and I will also display it on the screen, and that will happen in about 10 minutes. But now I want to explore a bit the interface, and what I want to do is look at some of the bot presets. So I will not go into my own bots, and I do that usually, so that's probably boring, but I'll go into the presets and look at some other people's bots. You know that in 3Commas, that's one of the I think, most useful features is that even if you are not very experienced to design your own strategy to your own bot, you can kind of ride on the wave of others people's work, stand on the shoulders of giants, and so on. So in the DCA bots presets, we have a ton of them. Funny thing was when I first started to use this platform about 3 years ago, and I was discovering all these interfaces and features, I was thinking, wow, there's so many different bots, and like, why do people give them such weird names? Who would come up with these names? But the names are not given by people. Actually, 3Commas anonymizes the bots. So these are real bots, but what 3Commas does is that it kind of takes everything besides the name to give it anonymity, and it generates this funky name. So there's many of them, and then they can give you quite a good starting point to both run and also to think of your own strategy. And again, if you are completely new, that's perfect. And also, if you don't have money, that's also good, because you can run these bots with the Pro account on paper. So there is the real trading, but also there is the paper trading in 3Commas. You can switch between them, so-called demo account, and you can run all of these bots on paper. Paper on 3Commas works in a way that it's only spot trading, but it has some possibilities for you to kind of mimic futures by trading long and short. So you could even create a short bot on paper. The only thing it will miss is actually the leverage. Okay, so let's review these things together for a few minutes for the duration of the next, how many minutes now? Maybe 6 minutes. And one of the things I think what we can do also during the streams is we can find some pretty good, decent bots. We can isolate them. We can start them on our own accounts. So that could also be an incentive for you when you see that there is a bot that's running, be it on paper or even on a real account, and it's somehow making money, that could be an incentive for you to continue investing into that particular platform. So there are a few things that you could filter on here in the presets. Of course, you could choose the exchange that maybe you are somehow tied to. If you are maybe in some regions where you don't have many of the exchanges available to you, then only if you would be naturally then a possibility. But don't be despaired, because some of the bots that you may find here in the presets could be ported to other exchanges. So you could filter by exchange, but you don't have to. There are other things you could filter on. For example, you could filter by some of the deal start conditions. This drop-down menu doesn't show all of the available choices in Treecommerce. There are so many interesting deal start conditions for you to really craft your strategy, and it can be totally unique. So there are some choices available here, but not all, but that could be one. So for example, now I have filtered out TradingView conditions. Then here, going back here, you could say, well, do I want a single pair bot running just on one coin or a multi-pair bot? So this means that the bot is selecting the coins, and here you can immediately see how many coins there are pre-selected in the bot. Personally, I like those where the number of coins is somewhat limited. So for example, we see this one plus 14, this one plus 16, versus this one where we have, this few plus 295. So it means this bot doesn't even limit the coins. But there may be other filters. We can check it out. So multi-pair versus single pair. And then we can also, if you're trading on futures, look at long or short. And now I'm filtering. And one last very important filtering, what you could do here is you could look at the days running. I like this as well. One of the things I was looking earlier this year when things were kind of bleak is seeing how many active bots are running for a long time and what was their ROI, what was their profit. So I was trying to push this as far as I could, let's say like that. And you see now we don't have this button that says, more. It's all we get. But now I have multi-pair. So if I click maybe all, I get a bit more. Okay, so not a lot. And then we can see, what are these oldest running bots are producing. Now, unfortunately, these green numbers, the profit, is only showing last month. So while we can say, all right, we filter out by the oldest bots, we cannot really say which ones of them are the best because this performance only for the last months. But that's why we then go in and study them carefully. So now let's continue with this screen. We'll look at the best performing bot from the screen. From what I can see, it's this one, 21%. What else? Then we have this one, 16, 18. And what else? Maybe this one and this one. Okay. Now I see some people were joining and dropping off, or maybe somebody still watching. Just to remind, in a few minutes, I want to share with you also a promo code. Those of you who are, maybe even used Treecommerce but stopped for whatever reason, maybe decide to come back with that code. So I'll give you the code in a few minutes, just when we look at one of these or two of these bots. All right, so let's look at this one. This one is running on futures. So it says Binance Futures, and it has a bunch of pairs. And the way we look at it, we can just click on it, or we could click on copy. Then the very next screen, once it loads, should give us, again, a visual curve of the profit. And it will also have some numeric representation of the performance. So as I'm streaming, my internet probably is a bit sluggish, so it's not loading fast. Let's give it a moment. Okay, I'm just typing now. Cannot multitask. All right. So, and this is good. We can see that this bot is having some red lines. I kind of like it. I'm hoping that this bot perhaps has a stop loss. Running a strategy on futures with a stop loss that is overall profitable would actually be a good find. That would be a good discovery. So 3Commas calculates that this particular bot is making 0.25% on average per day. And I think on futures, this is kind of subjective how they calculate the ROI, so I will not dwell on that so much. I will just go and look at the settings. Okay. All right, while this is loading, I think it's going to be a good time for me to give you the code. So, are you ready? Whoever is first, going to get it. The code is, shall I read it or shall I just show it on the screen? What do you prefer? Just joking. All right, here it is. This is the code. Grab it. And I'm going to show it here in the chat. So take it and activate it and enjoy the access to the platform. And I'll leave it for another 30 seconds. I'll just finish my discussion of this particular bot. And then we finish this stream for today, and then we'll do maybe another one either today or tomorrow. We'll see. I'll try to do them many quick ones just to give you guys all these codes. Tom, you're there. Okay. So happy to see you, Tom. Okay. So what is this bot doing? This is running 8x. This is cool. Not too much. Ultimate oscillator. No idea what this is. Ultimate oscillator. And okay, this is an issue, right? So this is supposed to pre-fill the settings that the bot is using, but it doesn't. So I don't know what settings this trader is using. So 3Comma didn't show it to me. So I cannot copy this bot. So I don't know. I would need to research what this ultimate oscillator is. No idea. And so fast lengths, middle lengths, slow lengths. Add the values here. I don't know what they are. Let's say something like this. I have no idea. If I knew what they were, I could just start it by, for example, choosing my paper or my test exchange account. So what I told you before is that this bot is using stop loss, and this is really good, right? This is what I like. If you trade on futures and you use leverage, you are really betting on the fact that you know which direction the price will go into. So you multiply your position, but you protect yourself with leverage. So the stop loss is quite wide, 5%. So we allow ourselves a bit of a wiggle room. And I see that the take profit is also 5%. So it's kind of 1-to-1. And we are looking at, I think, so it's a multi-pair bot, but we are looking at 5 deals here that the bot is taking. And the position size is fairly small, right? So it's probably kind of taking the minimum that the exchange is allowing, around 45 USDT. So it's quite interesting. It's a pity. I don't know what the values are. So again, I could try to research it. But it's a pity that by copying that as it's supposed to work, it actually didn't work. Because you saw that there were a few days with a loss. Now hopefully the screen will come back. But overall, the bot was profitable. So very interesting find, I think. All right, I think I'm about to be done for today. I'll do more. Ping me if you thought these short streams or the idea of giveaways was interesting. If I should do more or maybe change something, you know my socials, you know how to reach me. And until next time, see you or talk to you then.